Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Director's Commentary on Wolfpack Hustle. I'll keep this short. It's really good to see you. I'm so glad you are watching these and I hope you're enjoying them. That being said, let's dive right into it. Thanks.
Ball inbounded to Markel Johnson. Markel.
So here we've got the end of a game. NC State visiting Virginia. So two reasons why I would put just the end of a game at the top of the show. It's either important in continuing a theme or a storyline from an episode prior. Another reason is that there would be 3 games inside 7 days, and I have to showcase some of the game, even if not the whole edit makes it inside the episode. The other reason is that this episode, that game might actually happened on a Sunday, and Sunday is when the show is due, and so can't really put a full Sunday game into the same Sunday show. And if I put the full game in the following Sunday, it just becomes irrelevant at this point. Like, people are used to it. A week has passed, possibly 1 or 2 games in between then. So it's kind of obsolete. So with it being a loss, we just want to showcase that it happened and we're moving on. And yeah, just got to go from there. So I remember working in this season, because like I've said, this was my first season making a basketball documentary. I want the group that I'm filming to succeed. I mean, you want them to do well, but you are not responsible. You are not in charge of the outcome. So you kind of have to roll with the punches. So if the team that I'm covering gets in a bit of a losing skid, I just have to kind of grin and bear it. I have to find moments from a story standpoint that are interesting, that work in a non, things that work without having victories interspersed within the episode. And that's a struggle when it comes to making sports documentaries, especially if you have an allegiance to a particular organization, whether it's a personal or a professional one. You want what you capture to be interesting and exciting and look good, and you want it full of wins and feel-good moments. And when you aren't getting those, it can be frustrating. You can feel down. You can think, why am I doing this? Because you almost inherently link the team's success with your success. And that isn't always the case. Just because a team you're covering isn't doing very well does not mean that you are not doing your job. You might even have to get over the fact that some folks may not be paying attention to it because some folks don't want to relive a loss or anything like that. But that gives you an opportunity to get creative and think about, okay, what can I show that is still interesting, that isn't necessarily dependent on wins and losses? Granted, those things are important. I'm just saying, when you get in a rut where a team you're covering isn't doing well, how do you deal with that? So yeah. So Coach Keats here is just talking about kind of his history in athletics, and it was really cool to find footage of stuff that he references as influences when he was coming up, whether it was when he played football, and I found some old football footage. I cannot remember exactly if the game footage I showed, the high school football film I showed, is actually Kevin Keats as quarterback, but that was his coach that ended up talking and then showing some footage of other coaches he worked with, some pictures like Wilfred Patino. Like, that's just your standard accompanying and complementary B-roll. Subject talks about A, so you show A. Subject talks about B, so you show B. Standard stuff there.
All on you.
So we've got an interview with Torn Dorn, senior leader. This is been through, let's see, transfer from UNC Charlotte, and then transferred to NC State when Mark Godfrey was the head coach, and then stuck around when Coach Keats became the head coach as well. And fun, interesting fact about Torn, he has a passion for an interest in filmmaking, so it was really neat to kind of just talk with him about his journey and knowing that it would be showcased in a documentary format. It's pretty cool. So. I believe we go more in depth into that during our second season of Wolfpack Hustle. But so we're in chapter 8 of this show, and we're trying to showcase somebody different every week. Usually I start off with assistant coaches just to kind of lay the groundwork of who will be coaching these players that we see every 3 or 4 days on television. And then I move into players and support staff. They can be showcased on their own. They can be showcased in conjunction with each other, depending on how many games there happen to be within a week. We have to balance the personal stories, the interview segments with the game footage. So I want to say this episode, I did a little bit of a better job using not immediately accessible footage. So I did a little bit of like deep diving into YouTube and social media, also communicated with the director of communication to see if I could get old photos. So I think I'm starting to do a little bit of a better job editing these segments together with just some different archival elements.
We all have to have the same goal, and the goal is to make these kids better every day. Everybody that I've hired has won a championship.
I like filming at University of Virginia, John Paul Jones Arena, because the red jerseys that NC State wears, it pops against the blue and orange and white. That is the team. That is the colors of UVA. Excuse me. I'm on the struggle bus today.
As long as you can keep that in mind, then I think you'll have a successful program.
When Coach hired me, he said.
So now we're moving on to some more support staff members. Got Hunter Henderson. You no doubt would recognize him from his hair. He's easily recognizable because of it. So he was a manager at NC State, and
he came in my second year when I was a sophomore. So I met Coach when he
went to UNC Wilmington when Coach Keats was there to work with him, and then when Coach Keats came to State, it was nice little homecoming for Hunter. There's Travis Hackert, one of the nicest guys on the planet. Both Travis and Hunter, I believe, are currently at UNC Wilmington with former assistant coach at NC State, Takeo Siddle. So it's kind of cool just to see years later. This is 6 years. Jeez. Whew. No, 5. It's 5. Okay. 5 years after I make this episode, seeing these guys, knowing where they are, it's just kind of cool to know them when, You always want to, personally, like people that I have encountered while making documentaries, for the most part, I love seeing them go on to bigger and better things and lucrative things and successful things. That's really cool with anybody, just to see them, them from when, and they go on to do some really cool things. It's really neat, rewarding. So that footage that was kind of them reviewing game film, that's something I don't normally film. Normally they have a mini film session inside of the home locker room before home games, and I never really, like that shot right there, I had never really been in there for that. So it's kind of neat to see how they go how they break down film.
he doesn't have to wait.
I've
He wants to see something
seen scout film before, but I haven't had too many opportunities to witness how coaches and
I can't tell you how much I've
assistants
learned.
break down the footage in order for players to grasp the concepts that they're about to go up against on the court.
Scout, and then meeting with the coach
And you get a whole new appreciation for how much work they put into stuff. Like there's like basketball terminology and jargon that I don't understand.
preparing for games.
But they get it, and the players get it. And
And saying, you know what, I saw
by
this play.
osmosis or whatever, me being in the room capturing this stuff, I get to understand a little bit of it. I mean, I could never be a coach, but I was just saying,
So I just love being
it's a really awesome thing that happens when you, as a filmmaker, as a storyteller,
coach. You got to be vocal.
podcaster, whatever,
This is what they're going to
when you learn something by doing your job, that's really neat. Whether you're learning about coaching or I worked on a PBS show about human biology. I learned a lot about human biology by working on that show, and I had I never thought I would work on something like that. But it's just really cool to know the things you can learn just by doing your job, especially in this profession where your job is just like witness things and document things. And then by exposing yourself to these new experiences, you just learn more stuff. Oh, look at snow. A rare happening in Raleigh, North Carolina when it snows. And so if I can get some snow footage, you best believe I'm going to get it. I can't thank y'all enough for checking out this episode of Director's Commentary. If you are enjoying what you are watching and you want to help support some of the stuff that I'm making, I would deeply, deeply be humbled if you considered becoming a patron. You can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Becoming a patron comes with all kinds of cool perks, and it helps me make more stuff, both in quality and in quantity, and it really would just mean the world to me. Okay, please resume watching.
Got Malik, second pick in the draft.
This is these longer moments I talk about,
I like it, TD. Great respect right
just
there.
letting the moment play out with Coach Keats talking to these guys.
I think when you look at a coach, a coach certainly we wear a lot
It
of
shows
hats.
personality, it shows chemistry.
You got to be a father figure. Sometimes you got to sit down and talk to him as a great friend.
Again,
with
it's
that
not,
type of respect.
I'm reiterating myself. It's not all about the wins and losses. You really want to show
I think it's important
the human things that happen within programs like this. It's just really cool.
a chance to see you as an educator, someone off the court that one day when the basketball stops dribbling, they can see themselves being you. Come on, you say you want to be a pro and it takes you 40 minutes.
Normally, I film coaches. I try to film them early in the week. Coach Keats was notorious for switching the schedule on me at the last minute. And the majority of the time, it had to do with whether or not he had a haircut recently. He's trying to look good for the camera, which I cannot fault anyone. Like,
Right now we're switching.
I'm recording this over 5 years after I have made this. So this thing has lived on for 5 years. Like, you want you stuff from 5 years ago. You want yourself to look good. You want to be proud of the way you look. You want to be happy with it. I mean, I have no hair, so I can't. I can't really criticize it all. Do shave my head though. If I go a couple of days without shaving, it's a little raggedy looking. But anyway, enough about hair.
I mean this and I'm not just joking. Somebody's gonna have a breakout game.
So we've got another game coming up. This is the only full game in the episode.
Hard work. 1, 2, 3. Hard work.
Pac-12 and 6 overall, 2 and 3 in the ACC, and a sparkling 11
Against
and 1.
Wake Forest, Demon Deacons. Why is the dance team wearing that? Is it 80s night, 90s night? They had some theme nights at PNC Arena, which I never quite understood, but I don't work in fan engagement or marketing, so I'm not an expert.
Here's Brown between the rings, picks up his dribble. He's in trouble. Dorn all over it. Pass on the wing, picked off by
Oh,
Freeman.
nice.
Here's Al down the floor, layup good. Swings it left side to Freeman. Yurtseven screens Freeman. Back to Yurtseven on a pick and pop. Left wing shot is up good by Yurtseven. Here's Crawford lobbing inside for the jam by Doral Moore.
Amir always had just like the softest touch when he was putting up jumpers. It was really, really kind of cool to see. Just like finessed in. It was just really cool. And then Malik is Malik's a powerful athletic dude. He's just going to slam the ball down. Always cool when you, yeah, I love that shot. I mean, that was my shot, but I'm not just saying it because it was mine. I love a wide shot. Like I've said before, if in your shot, you can get the ball coming out of someone's hands, the ball going in the hoop, and a stadium full of fans reacting to it, that's money.
Another long distance shot. He hit it for three. Deep right. Gets it to Al Freeman. Drives to the foul line. Stops. Bounces to
Good
Yurtseven
dish.
for a jam. By Mitchell. Driving all the way to the basket. Turns the corner. Layup good.
We gave up a layup right here. We gave up a
Sometimes Coach Keats points at my camera or points in the direction of my camera, or sometimes he accidentally makes eye contact with my camera, and for a split second, I'm like, oh shit. But I really have nothing to worry about. It's just kind of like when you as a person are watching something unfold and then the person at the center of the action all of a sudden makes eye contact with you, you feel like you might not be welcome, but that's not the case. It's just coach is looking around to every player in the huddle, and I'm usually in between players, and so naturally his eye line is going to fall within my lens. So I can tell by the way that this edit is cut together that I had to fill some time, and luckily with a close game. Ooh, did that go in? Oh, okay. Still a good shot. Still with a close game like this, going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth is warranted, and it helps when I have to fill time, because it becomes relevant to the outcome, especially if the whole game ends up being close, and it helps you fill the 23 minutes and 20 seconds I have to fill.
Stop saying how good you want to be, and just be it. Some guys do. Just stop saying it. I don't want nobody to tell me, let's go. Come on. Just stop playing, man. Just everybody take
I like that mentality. Stop talking about how good you want to be and just be good.
Just play and have as much fun as you can. That's what it is. It's basketball. I told you guys, you're great people, man. Just play. You're putting too much emphasis in your
I've always been interested to learn kind of what a correlation would be between fun and success, and whether one comes before the other. Like, do you decide that you are happy and you want to have fun, and then that leads to success, or are you having success and then you are having fun? I think that would be an interesting topic to explore. So if anybody watching or listening to this wants to do that, I encourage you to do so and get back to me.
They'll go in the second half, all right? Let's go. Come on.
Outlet pass to Beverly. Beverly fires for three. Good in transition. 44-38. Pack working it around the perimeter. Here's a boot. Get to Yurtseven. Free throw line.
There's a
Good.
touch again.
Driving Dorn to the basket. Shoots a runner. Good. Left baseline to Yurtseven. Fires again. Misses. Rebound bad. One dribble back up.
When NC State and Wake Forest play each other, it's always anybody's guess. Ooh, that was good. Ooh, nice bench shot. I don't know who got that. Moments like that in the huddle. Oh, man, it's perfect. An Amir bucket. Malik talking about how good he's doing. Another bucket. It's love when a plan comes together. I tell you what. Ooh, good shot. Yeah, Kel. I'm acting like I'm watching the game live. Man, he's scoring on these dudes. I really wish that I had in the budget to have a sound person, a boom operator, for these games, because man, having the mic right above the huddle, capturing everything, God, that would be so clutch.
Pass to Yurt 7 in the midcourt area, bangs off him. Johnson picks it up. Johnson drives right to the lane, stops, pops, hits.
Money.
Big shot by Markel Johnson. Crawford will drive. Crawford all the way to the basket, scoop to the hoop, banks and missed the shot. Yurt 7 tips it out. Basket's got it. Here's Beverly, left wing, drives left baseline. Now he's shut off on a double team.
Oh, what's happening? Oh. Ooh, man. Sorry. Is this commentary? Is this the commentary you want? I'm just watching this game again. Little air ball. Oh, we had the walk-ins in. So, okay, all right. Solid win.
The ball game on an 11-0 run and beats the Deacons 72-63.
Nice.
That's a great character win because what happens?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, have fun.
Every ACC game is going to be like that. You're going to have your ups and downs. Okay? But you got to be able to take whatever some team.
Keisha Ganatra back there in the corner. Shout out.
Come on, you got to fight it. We did a great job because you had plenty of opportunities to put your head down, okay? And you stuck in there and you battled and you battled. That's a great win. It's an unbelievable win because we did it as a group. So keep building on it now. We cut out, listen to me, we cut all our dumb mistakes in the second half, and teams can't score when you cut your mistakes off.
Mission accomplished for me is having every kid that I have in this program graduate.
One of the really creative things you can do when you are putting together something like this, where you have
After a freshman or sophomore year,
this like interview setup, you have the sound from the interview. If you've got a lot of B-roll to work with, a lot of footage to work with,
and that's important.
you can chop up the actual audio from the interview and you can pace it however you want. Coach Keach is not taking these natural longer pauses as he's talking right now. He's not a fast talker, but he doesn't take a lot of pauses when he speaks. And so in order to add a little bit of drama to it, a little bit of emotionality, a little bit of just switching up the pacing, I will do that. I will take a couple sentences and then I'll cut it right there and then have a couple seconds of just silence. And then his voice will come back in with a different thought. That's editing, man. That's what it is. Editing is not, censoring things or cutting stuff out. It's molding with clay. It's sculpting the story.
60, 70, 80 hours a week,
You can use a bunch of different metaphors. You can cook it, coming up with your perfect recipe, or it could be some kind of chemistry analogy. And I'm rambling, but that's okay.
That makes it all worth it for me.
Good reaction there by Hunter. If someone has a really good reaction in an interview, like they're showing some emotion, positive and negative, like show that. Don't cover that with B-roll, because like your audience will connect with that person. Like if you see someone nod, you might end up nodding, or if you see someone smile, you might end up smiling. It's really powerful. Thank y'all so much for watching today. If you have any comments or questions about what you saw, please feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoy these videos and you want to stay up to date on other directors' commentaries or other videos I do put out, go ahead and hit subscribe, as well as ringing the bell so you get a notification every time I do make something new. And if you want to further support the stuff that I'm making, I would be so humbled if you considered becoming a patron. Becoming a patron comes with all kinds of cool perks, even outside of directors' commentaries. Yeah, but that's about it. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.